I'm covering the Off Iceberg. Off, by the way, is a game made by Mortis Ghost. I'm just gonna assume you've played it for this iceberg, but if you haven't, it's free and pretty short, so I'll link it in the description, you should play it. This iceberg is made by Particular Product 55 and are off the game, and it's pretty epic. So grab a snack if you're hungry, and if you're not, then don't, I guess, and get hyped for the Off Iceberg. The Sky. Killing the Judge in Zone 0. If you kill the Judge in his tutorial battle in Zone 0, he says this: "Poor imbecile, you have drained my health points. I'm going to die in this empty land where your sacred mission ends." After that, you get a game over. Translation errors. Throughout the history of Off, its English translations have had numerous errors that have changed the meaning of certain dialogue. The most infamous example is at the end of the game, where the Queen refers to Hugo as the son we have brought into this world, instead of its correct translation, the son who brought us into this world. The majority of these issues were fixed in the 3.0 translation. Zachary slew the Frog King. One of the books in the library of Zone 2 describes a Frog King killed by a masked person. The only notably masked character in the game is Zachary, so put 2 and 2 together and he probably committed frogicide. Hugo Coma Theory. Hugo is heavily theorized to be a sick child in a hospital dreaming up all of Off, imagining his mother as the queen and his father as the batter. God, I hate theories like this. Theories? What? Batter and Queen aren't human. Mortis Ghost has confirmed that neither of them are human, as this entry states. Secret Ending. If you collect all 5 grand items and give them to Zachary in Zone 0, you can choose between the Ashley Bat, the best weapon for the batter, and the Ares card. Getting the Ares card and beating the game allows you to unlock the Secret Ending, which depicts space apes ranting about how they've beaten the Flying Brains once and for all. It's very weird. Dopefish. If you stand in a particular tile in Pintle in Zone 1, you can briefly see a small fish with exaggerated teeth that jump and dive into the water. This is a reference to the Dopefish, a creature that has appeared in various video games as an Easter egg. Or the tip. Von Gacy. This is an enemy in Zone 0 found in the treatment room. Oh my god. Why am I... I'm just gonna restart this. Von Gacy. This is an enemy in Zone 3 found in the treatment rooms of Zone 3. Their name seems to be derived from John Wayne Gacy, a serial killer. How nice. Why become a cat? I'm assuming this entry is referring to Japhet, which makes a good point. I have no idea why a giant firebark would want to turn into a cat, as it seems like he could escape from Valerie's body easily, but I don't know, maybe they have some hidden benefits. Enoch doesn't actually grow larger. Apparently Enoch, when he appears in the monorail in Zone 3, doesn't actually grow larger, despite appearing to. I guess maybe it's a perspective thing, but I don't know, it sure seems like he does. Unreachable Elson debug text. At the Elson train station in Zone 1, you can find an Elson standing at a location inaccessible to you. If you look into the files or use NoClip, you'll find he says, "If you are reading this, then that means you have the power of NoClip. Help Dismal find his fruit cup." That is all. I think I read somewhere that Dismal helped with the translation, but I'm not sure. Shading caused by interpolation. I have basically no knowledge of these things, so to quote Hooded Mystery on Reddit, "Many of Off's sprites are made by scanning images drawn on paper and making them smaller. This can make some details or cross-hatching look like shading, or any fuzzy line can come out with some off art. Why am I stuttering so much? Oh my lord. Or any fuzzy line can come out with some odd artifacts. Cool. Below the surface. Space monkeys are the voice from the intro. If you see the secret ending, you can see space monkeys were the ones pulling the strings the entire time. I guess it might be the unidentified voice in the intro. This is an interesting theory, I haven't heard this one before. Batter out of character during residential area sequence. This is referring to how it's strange that the batter is so intent on killing the specters quickly, when they would all disappear anyway after he kills Japhet. I suppose that's kinda out of character for him. Defeating Enoch in his first phase. If you somehow kill Enoch in his invincible first phase, it just goes to the same dialogue as if you escape. That's lame. Area 4 Elson strange overworld sprites. I'm assuming this is referring either to the long-eyed Elson or the Elson with lab coats, which I guess don't appear anywhere else in the game. But this isn't the only area with exclusive Elson sprites, so I'm not sure what this entry is referring to. Scrapped sequel. I don't think there's ever a sequel for Off planned, but if there's something I'm unaware of, let me know. Very mundane ghoul. This is the description of the Guilds to Rise, an enemy in the mall in Zone 2. The full description is, finally, a very mundane ghoul. Fun fact, Guilds to Rise is also named after a serial killer, a 15th century child murderer. How fun. The room's secret chest. In a certain room in the room, if you play a music box you get in Zone 3, you can get a perfect symbol. Neat. Giant Elson in the room is a painting. The giant Elson who gives you riddles in the room might be a painting. According to the guy who made this theory, they wrote it on a theory. Why am I stuttering so much and, like, messing up words? I'm sorry, I feel kind of crappy right now. I hope you can forgive me for this stuff. Okay. The giant Elson who gives you riddles in the room might be a painting. According to the guy who made this iceberg, they wrote it on a theory, but they forgot the reasoning. The depths. How was Jaffet able to summon specters in the residential area, but not the library? I honestly don't know why this is. I don't think it was ever explained. Weird. Zoneless flowers in the nothingness. There are indeed a couple of flowers in the nothingness without zones, which is kind of weird, well, not that weird. It's just right. Hugo isn't his first name. In the fight with the Queen, one of her things she says is, "You don't even know his first name." So either she's lying, Hugo isn't his name, or it's his last name. Cool. Furniture in the room. The creator of this iceberg found it weird that there were so many chairs and stuff for how few living creatures there are in the room, but to me it just fits with the surreal vibe of the area. Overworld sprites and tile sets are placeholders. The character sprite sheets and Off are labeled as Temporary 1, Temporary 2, and so on. I wonder if this was because they were initially intended as placeholders. That would make sense with their simplistic aesthetic. The Dark Depths. Hugo created the previous world, too. I believe this is a theory about how Hugo, who created the world of Off, also made the world where Dayton, Japheth, and Enoch originally lived. I don't think anything confirms this. Chapter 1 Narrator. In the scene before the Queen and the Bat are in the room, the narrator's heard talking. It's never confirmed who this is. It's probably the Space Monkeys, I don't know. Allegory for Iraq War. What? Dayton has cows be slaughtered as revenge for biting him. This theory is probably true. As you probably know, Dayton has cows in Zone 1 be harvested for their meat and metal, and in the room he's shown to be in pain from a cow bite. This definitely sounds like something Dayton would do. Significance of Daisy. Daisy is Ballman's girlfriend in the Boxer's Adventures part of the room. I guess maybe she represents the Queen or Hugo? I don't know. Zones are light seconds apart from each other. Each zone in Off is connected via the nothingness. I suppose they could be very far from each other, but I don't think anything about them is confirmed. Not safe door banging in Morse code. In the song Not Safe, which plays in the Purified Zones, you can hear someone, presumably an Elson, banging on a door. Apparently this can roughly be translated to SOS in Morse code. Neat. The Bottom. Home is canon. This is not true. Cool to think about, though. Oh wait, I haven't explained Home. Home is an Off fan game about the judge. It's pretty cool, I will link it in the description. Not canon, though. Origin of plastic never explained. The origins of the other 4 elements, smoke, meat, metal, and sugar, are all explained, but how plastic is made is never explained. Odd. Hugo was the only guardian associated with an element. Hugo is associated with meat, as he is seen holding it, but no other guardians are directly associated with any elements. We have a backstory that we'd like to exploit to the core. This is a quote from the README file of Off. It's ironic, as Mortis Ghost has done nothing with Off since its release. Fate of Japheth's fellow birds. After Japheth's birds lift up Enoch in the room, you never see them again. Interesting. Batter's Talk Sprite and Battle Sprite originate from the same drawing. This is true, both of them do. Cool. The Abyss. Strange patterns in the nothingness. There are a few odd bits of art that appear in the nothingness that are never explained. I doubt they're important, but I don't know, they might be essential for the plot. Based on a real story. Yeah, I bet. Dayton was human before the cow bite. The first time, chronologically, you see him is after he got bit by a cow. He already looks like his weird self, so it's possible he was human before the bite. Suicide case linked to person not installing the font. Off's dialogue looks very weird unless you insult the necessary font. It's very hard to make out, so maybe it did make someone kill themselves, I don't know. Number 1 on Secretary's binary code. The concept art for the second two secretaries have a 1 on them. This doesn't translate into anything in binary. If I'm missing anything, let me know. Sugar is a placebo. This may be the case, as Elson can very easily be affected by things. It's possible sugar does nothing and they just believe it does. Interesting. The trenches. Hugo faked his illness. There's no evidence of this in-game as far as I know, but it's an interesting interpretation. The meaning of his tears coda not present in OST version. The meaning of his tears is the song that plays during the Queen fight. It has a short ending part that plays at the end, not present in the OST version. I wonder why. Area 4 Cavalry Burns have more health. I'm not quite sure what this is referring to. It seems like in-game there's only one version of the Cavalry Burn. If anyone knows more, tell me. Zone 1 Secretary's unique flavor text. When you use a wide angle on the secretaries in Zone 2 or 3, it refers to them as demonical humanoid spirits. But in Zone 1, they're referred to as diabolical humanoid spirits. I wonder why they switched that around. Deep darkness. Elson, who told the batter that the specters had a leader, is to blame for everything. This is an interesting theory, I haven't heard this one before. It's probably true. Queen's cake was an attempt to get batter addicted to sugar. Once again, this is a neat theory. Cool. Ball gnomes. To quote the same guy who talked about interpolation earlier, concept art implies that the ball gnomes were originally going to be in the Boxer comic, possibly replacing the Ballman clones. Cool. Mariana's Trench. Smoke element in Manichaeism. Once again, I know literally nothing about this topic, so I'll let Hooded Mystery explain it. IDK, I'm kinda just skimming this encyclopedia page. In some Christian myth, the Kingdom of Darkness is split into 5 areas or 5 elements. The elements are smoke, fire, wind, water, and darkness. There's probably more to dig into here, though, like how Father of Greatness is surrounded by 12 eons, and the Father's 4 divine attributes are purity, light, power, wisdom. Neat. Elson was Hugo's foster father. In an interview, Mortis Ghost stated that the daddy Hugo mentions is Elson the scientist, whoever that is. Cool. Add-ons represent the 3 wheels of the Great Ban. According to the creator, the Great Ban is also from Manichaeism. I still have no idea what that is. Queen's face is different in every copy of Off. This joke definitely isn't overused. Cool, we're done. I hope everyone who watched this enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye.